I was just so embarrassed walking home with pee all over my shorts, but it's something I'm never gonna forget, peeing in front of 3 people in a natural food store. What's up, YouTube world, and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, thank you so much for stopping by. My name's Athena. My videos are all about fashion, lifestyle, and as of recently, about my pregnancy journey. I am 25 weeks pregnant. I am in my 2nd trimester, but today's video, I'm going to be reflecting back on my 1st trimester and sharing with you guys all of my symptoms. And let me tell you, there were a lot. But first, I will just quickly preface, I'm sure this goes without saying, that no one pregnancy, no one body, no one list of symptoms is exactly the same. We all have different journeys, and I am sharing my journey and my symptoms and my experiences with you guys. I hope you find this video to be really helpful. I know when I was in my 1st trimester, just hearing other people and hearing their symptoms and finding peace knowing that I wasn't going through certain things alone, because I found that asking certain friends and certainly family members, they were not experiencing anything remotely close to myself, and that kind of makes you feel like, well, is what I'm going through normal? Like, how come my pregnancy app is listing these 5 things but I'm experiencing these other things? Like, what's going on? So when I turned to YouTube and I was able to find peace in knowing that other people were, you know, experiencing the same things as me, then it was really helpful. So that's exactly what I want to do in today's video, is help you find a little bit of peace knowing that there's a stranger on the internet who might be going through the same thing as you are. So without further ado, let's get started into these lists of symptoms. Alright, so I have my trusty notes here. This is my pregnancy journal. This is something I just got from Amazon. It's one of my first purchases when I found I was pregnant. I made sure to update it every single week just so I can reflect back and really share with you guys my whole experience, and just so I can remember my whole pregnancy journey from start to finish. So this is what I condensed, and I put everything into this one like master list. And we're going to start with week 4, because that's when I started to really feel a plethora of different symptoms, and I was just so shook and so ill-prepared, because I really thought the only thing really to expect is like morning sickness, and that's it. No. At least not for me, that was not the case. So the first thing, of course, was morning sickness, and I don't know why they even call it morning sickness, because it's like you're nauseous all day long. Like, I was nauseous from the moment I woke up until the moment I went to bed. There was pretty much no time in between where I wasn't feeling like queasy and just awful, to be honest. And that was one of the first things that hit me pretty hard, and again, that was early as week 4. But luckily, the silver lining is that even though I was really nauseous and really queasy, it didn't get to the point where it was making me physically sick. It wasn't making me throw up, which is a blessing. Food aversions, I didn't even know what a food aversion was until I became pregnant. Honestly, there's all of a sudden my appetite was increased. I was always so hungry and I was always so thirsty. And then with food aversions, there's so many things I could not stand anymore. It was crazy. It was like overnight, I loved chicken and I loved broccoli and I loved overnight oats and I loved certain foods, and all of a sudden in the next minute, I couldn't stand anything. And it was such a battle trying to figure out like what foods I could tolerate, especially with another symptom, which is sense of smell. My sense of smell was heightened like crazy, and so a combination of increased appetite with food aversions and sense of smell being heightened, it was just a bad cocktail. And so I was always so hungry, but I couldn't figure out what I could actually enjoy without it making me feel extra worse. So I remember eating a lot of fruit. Watermelon's my best friend, especially in summertime. So I ate a lot of watermelon. I could eat an entire bowl, like an entire watermelon. I'll cut that in half and eat like that half of watermelon with one sitting. It was crazy. Also a lot of soups. I remember a lot of soups helped. I know that they always suggest like eating crackers and stuff, but I tried eating crackers as little snacks and it never did anything for me. Next up on the list, we have being tired and having low energy. I remember having this grand idea of all the videos I was going to make during my 1st trimester and how much content I was going to get out, and it didn't happen. Anytime I tried to sit in front of a camera, I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. So I just remember being so tired all the time. So next up is bloating, and bloating goes hand in hand with cramping and backaches. I had all three, which is funny because those are all three things that I normally experience during my period. So I was like, am I pregnant or do I just have my period? Because it all feels the same. So another thing is the boobs. Boobies got so swollen right away. From week number 4, I noticed swelling in my breasts, and I was so shocked that I was seeing them get big so quickly, and I already am like heavy chested, and to see them get even bigger, I was like, wow, if this is me at week 4, can you imagine me at like my 3rd trimester? How huge are they gonna get? My poor back. And so with the big breasts became sensitive, and to the point where I couldn't even take off like my regular bra comfortably. I would take my regular bra off and typically go braless when I was sleeping at nighttime, but I remember I could not do that because they're so uncomfortable. I needed the extra support, so I went right onto Amazon and I got some wireless bras, and they look like granny bras, but I don't care. They're super comfortable. I still wear them, and they're a godsend. Sensitivity and the heaviness and the swelling that happens so quickly, I was not ready for that. So all the symptoms I listed were all from week 4. Let's jump to week 5. So week 5, I wrote down I was getting daily headaches. I've had headaches since I was a kid. I've always had like struggled with headaches, but they were really like heightened during my pregnancy. Sometimes they're pretty crippling, and I can't take Advil, so I was only allowed to take Tylenol, and Tylenol does not work for me whatsoever. So I just remember there'd be days where it was just a complete write-off, and I would just grab an ice pack from the freezer, put some like peppermint oil on my temples, and then just sleep for hours and hours. I was going to acupuncture, going to chiropractor, going to physio. I was going to headache specialists. The headaches were pretty awful. Luckily, they're not that bad anymore. We've moved past the intense headache stage, but yes, headaches were something that definitely was a no bueno. Next up, frequent urination, constantly having to go pee, and this was stage 1 of the pandemic. So this is when like restaurants and things like that, like you can only do takeout. You weren't allowed to go in the facility, and if you did, you definitely could not use the restroom. And if you go to parks, you couldn't use the restroom. Like if you were to leave your house and you need to go to the washroom in the public, there's literally nowhere you can go. So I remember like even trying to plan on going on a walk with a friend, I'd have to just give her a heads up, like, by the way, I only have like a half an hour time slot. I'm gonna need to go home because I know I'm gonna have to go pee during our walk, and I know that there's nowhere open to go. So that gave me a little bit of anxiety, just knowing that there's no place to go and knowing that I had such a short window before I have to go pee again. But I need to stay hydrated. Obviously, I'm always thirsty. I'm still always thirsty. I'm always hungry. So there's no way I'm just not gonna hydrate myself in order not to go pee. So my hangouts were very short, and that's okay. Okay, next, a little bit of like acid reflux, little heartburn situation. Tums was my best friend. Tums really helped. I love the little chewable ones too. Taste like a little Starburst. They taste like Starburst. Tastes like it's like a candy. It's a treat, even though you know it's helping to manage everything going on in here. Also, avoiding spicy foods definitely did help as well. Staying hydrated helped. Certain teas helped, but acid reflux and heartburn, it was not cute. Now jumping to week 9 and 10, back to the boobies. My areolas got darker, they got bigger, and also my nipples got even more sensitive. So now we have big swollen breasts with big areolas and dark areolas and sensitive nipples. So much happening with these boobs that I was not anticipating. But again, what I did is I used like a wireless bra. I would use it at night times to give myself extra support, and you know, you have to go up in bra sizes and get refitted, and make sure you're keeping your breasts nice and hydrated, the belly nice and hydrated, your body nice and hydrated. That helps with any itchiness and discomfort as well. But dang, the amount of changes with these girls, I'm like, it's only first trimester. Next is shortness of breath. Like, talking to a camera for this extended amount of time I'm surprised I'm not really winded right now. But there'd be times when I was, you know, in a short conversation and I can literally catch myself like, you know, trying to catch my breath, and you would think I just ran a mile, but really I just had a conversation. It's actually hilarious. Now I sometimes experience a shortness of breath, even in second trimester. I don't know if that's all the way up until third. I have no idea how long that happens for. So I did note dizziness. Dizziness is something that I did experience not too often. It wasn't like consistently every single day I was feeling dizzy. However, I did faint, and this was, I was just grabbing some like prenatal vitamins. I was in the natural food store, and I literally just remember feeling a little bit lightheaded, and next thing you know, I faint. And I was having a really hard time breathing, and I was like obviously panicking. I was like, what's happening? And then I fainted. And when I fainted, which was only for a few seconds, I literally peed myself. I peed myself in a natural food store in front of the two owners and my partner. And when I came to, I remember they just tried to, you know, say that it was, I remember feeling really wet, and I was like looking around, and they just told me that I spilled some water and it was fine, and they're trying to make me feel better. I'm like, I was just so embarrassed walking home with pee all over my shorts. Luckily they were gray and they kind of were dry by the time I got outside, so it wasn't that noticeable. Got testing done, and they monitored my heart to see if like it was a cardiovascular issue, which it wasn't, thankfully, and I haven't fainted since then. That was my one and only time. And another thing here is heavy heart beating. So I don't know if this is just because there's so much happening in the world, and with like COVID happening and all these changes happening with my body, and just me being overwhelmed and what have you, but I remember there are several days, you know, consistently having like these like heart palpitations, like just feeling like a heavy heartbeat. And I think now looking back, seeing that I don't really experience that often, is I really just think I was just going through so much, and it was all so new and so much happening to me at once and happening in the world, that it was coming out in anxiety. And I was just like, and through anxiety, I was noticing my heavy heartbeat, or it was maybe also to do with the pregnancy. I'm not too sure, but I definitely know that, you know, I was experiencing just heaviness. Now for week 11, I'm happy to report that I noted feeling a little bit better during week 11. I started taking anti-nausea pills, which I will leave in the description bar below if I can still find them. I just got them from like a natural food store. They were just vitamins with ginger and something else, and it helped like calm my stomach. But I just remember feeling like all these things were never going to end, and this moment I started feeling a little bit better. It gave me hope, and it gave me bright light at the end of the tunnel. And I do remember hearing that, you know, your first trimester can be rough, and you know, once you hit your second trimester, it's supposed to be better. It is better for a lot of people. And again, when you're in the first trimester, you're going through so much, and you hear people talk about the second trimester, you're like, girl, I'm just trying to survive right now. I don't even want to hear what's going to happen then, like help me now. But I can tell you, for someone who's now in their second trimester, pushing third, about to be in my third, that it really did get better for me. It did take time. Definitely after week 11, there was ups and downs. I had good weeks and bad weeks. However, you know, at least halfway through my second trimester, or a few weeks into it, I started feeling much better. I started feeling back to myself. I started getting more energy and less nausea and things. I was getting used to these changes, and I was starting to show more, and it was just becoming like a better pregnancy, more enjoyable. And so I also want to end on a note that it does get better. It does get better, and I hope for you it gets better too. And I wish nothing but the best for you guys, and I want you guys to know that whatever you're experiencing, it's okay. Girl, I got you. You know, we're growing a human, we're growing a life. Your body is doing a lot, and with that, you know, you're bound to experience just a lot of symptoms and changes, because you again are growing a human inside of you. So give yourself a pat on the back. You deserve it. I hope that you found this to be helpful. If you're experiencing any of these things, know that it is normal. It is okay. There's other people out there who are experiencing the same things as you, and it will get better. Stay tuned for next week, because I'll be posting another video just to go over some first trimester essentials, things that helped me get through the process a little bit easier. So keep your eyes peeled for that, as well as if you want to see my gender reveal surprise, my pregnancy announcement, anything like that, you can find it here on my channel. I'd love to have you. Please subscribe, like today's video if you liked it, and thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.